Yo, what's up? This is why I want to talk about this whole narrative that why would anybody want to give their daughters to a so-called black man? This whole narrative that why would anybody want to give their daughters to you? Like, it's not like, I doubt people are just having this thought in their head that I can't wait to pass my daughter on to a black dude. And even then, I do find that kind of, bigoted and kind of anti-black, because what you trying to say? We're not worthy of love and affection just because we're black, not because we're a bad person or anything like that. But I don't think she understands history, because I think that chick, she's like first generation American. So she just got here basically. And I do find it kind of asinine that, we've been in this country for generations. She just got here, and yet she thinks she can tell us what we got wrong. Like, how you gonna tell us what we got wrong if we've been here in this country for generations and generations? We know more about the social politics and the social dynamics in this country more than you. And how you gonna tell us what we got wrong? In this whole narrative that, and I know where it's coming from. I understand where she's coming from. I really do, because in these different cultures, like in America, there's kind of like some anti-black sentiments in America that have been perpetuated during slavery, and it carried on to the media, into the first installment of the media, which is the birth of a nation, the original birth of a nation. And that's how the Ku Klux Klan got created, because of all that propaganda that, these black men, they're gonna R-word your daughters and your wife, or they're gonna take over, they're gonna start committing crimes against us. And that kind of lit a match under a fire, which created the Ku Klux Klan. So basically the Ku Klux Klan got created because of the insecurities, the genetic annihilation of genetic, I don't know if I'm saying it right, the fear of genetic annihilation. I think that's me saying it right. And low-key penis envy, because when they lynched the brothers, they used to just cut off the genitals, right? Which you don't learn that in school. I wonder why. The world may never know. Alright. But that actually projected inside these wars. Yes, it was a lot of anti-black propaganda about black men going on in these wars. Like, they try to say the Koreans that black men grew tails and stuff. And they tried to get inside the Vietnamese head, talking about how black people are this and that. Because some of those soldiers, it's even on YouTube, some of them soldiers, Vietnam soldiers, there was cameras back then. So they was talking about how that was down there, and them Vietnamese was like, we don't want you here. Y'all start trouble and stuff. And how they know they start trouble? They don't even know those people. It's because Uncle Sam got inside those people's head first. He brainwashed those people to believe that black people were this, that, and the third. Now, of course, not everybody was with that. Some people, like some of the Vietnamese people, was actually co-signing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. They was actually listening to him, because Dr. Martin Luther King, he tried to reach out to those Vietnamese people. And I think that's the reason why a lot of those brothers didn't really die during the war, the Vietnamese war, because Dr. Martin Luther King. But they try to do this with other Europeans, like the French. Sell anti-black propaganda, lies about black men, talking about they grow tails and they're like monkeys and apes and stuff like that. And the French, they didn't believe that. They didn't believe that at all. They saw through the cap. Plus, some of them black soldiers, they went to France and never came back because they was actually getting treated like human beings. During the Jim Crow, this whole traveling thing is nothing new. Brothers been traveling since like the 1920s. They was traveling and they went to Panama. And this whole passport, bro, this conversation's been had since the 1950s. Brothers was wifing up some of those Japanese women and bringing them back to the States after the whole war with the Japanese. White men was doing it too. Some of them brothers went to Korea too. After like the Korea War, some of them brothers went there. And some of them brothers had a couple kids with those Vietnamese women. And after that whole Nazi war, Germany war, a lot of brothers was wifing up some of those Germany women. Those German women was flocking to the brothers. So this debunks this whole narrative that she's trying to say. Is that unfortunately there is a degree where some of these other cultures have this whole anti-blackness, meaning like how they view blackness. They think that fair skin they associate fair skin with a higher social status and dark skin with a lower social status and with poverty. And some of that is due to colonialism, getting colonized or just getting introduced to that colonial mindset. Some of that is culture. But regardless of that, even though that's where it came from, regardless of that, brothers can still go to these different cultures and still win, regardless of that. That's been proven for decades, even over 100 years. Brothers went in Japan for decades. Even now, like even today, I saw brothers talk about how they've been to Japan for 20 years. They ain't married, got a whole family and stuff. Even the Philippines, even some places in South America. So yes, that element, this whole thing about how people view blackness, yes, that is a reality that black men have to deal with, because a lot of white guys, all they have to do is just be white. I've seen so many videos of these women flocking to these guys. And I used to thought it was just in Asia, because this is this whole thing where they say that Asia is the white man's playground, but you can honestly say this is kind of like the same thing in South America. It's kind of like that in South America as well. Dude, I don't see so many videos of white guys doing it big in South America. I seen a video of this guy at Venezuela. He was talking to this Venezuela chick, and then she invited this guy to her family, to her house, and whole family is welcoming and they're cooking for him. She just showing him around the house, and I bet he got the clap cheeks. I mean, it kind of like that in Africa. A lot of the Hotep's talking about, oh, brothers need to go to Africa. I think that dude named Dr. Neil, I'm calling him out too, because he's kind of low-key penis policing black men, talking about, oh, y'all need to go to Africa. I know y'all obsessed with that light skin, that white skin, but y'all need to go to Africa. Low-key penis policing. He's trying to put the whole pro-black spin on the whole traveling thing. Dr. Neil, but like, white guys can go there and clean up house just like that, just because they're white. Who's that Mike Oliver dude? He done smashed like 1,000 women and gave them HIV and stuff. So they pretty much got it made globally. So basically, all this is saying is that this whole narrative that because of how different cultures view blackness is all cap. Once they get a chance to get to know you, that goes out of the window. Once they have an open mind towards you, that goes out the window. Once you present yourself accordingly, it goes out of the window. And I heard stories from brothers talking about how these dudes, even like in South America, in Asia, Southeast Asia to be specifically, I'm pretty sure this does happen in East Asia to a slight degree. Once a guy gets to know them and they introduce them to their sister or cousin, because I heard stories about that too. But these men from these different cultures, they do try to put give their daughters to black men. They do, especially American black men. Dude, they do this. Not everybody is a bigot, a closed-minded bigot. Everybody doesn't think the same way. So this is it. I just want to talk about this whole narrative. Because this whole narrative, you can use Jim Crow to debunk this narrative in the end of slavery. Dude, brothers been getting access to all these other chicks since we got free. Dude, we was wifing up some of these Native American chicks after we got freed. Shit, we was in with them before slavery. A lot of the black natives in America, they was linking up with the red natives. Brothers had opportunities everywhere they went. Even now, we still got opportunities.